episode 12 of Magnífico Lucha Libre as the Magnfico Cup Parte Dos, and it is the go-home show before the final episode of Season 1, as we see Rey Mysterio Jr. helping out his son, Dominic Mysterio, wheelchairing him out of the hospital as there's some reporters outside, and they stop, and before they load up Dominic into the car, he stops and they answer some questions and just say, Dominic had received a concussion. He was in the hospital recuperating. We wait a little bit longer than usual to come back out of the hospital. They were there for 3 weeks, and just wanting to do a lot more tests and just seeing how everything was going to go. If he was able to come back and fight at Ultima Guerra, and he is and Rey Mysterio Jr. vows to get his revenge on Mil Muertes and Promociones Dorado. I don't know why Selena De La Renta is trying to punish our name, our family, our dynastia. I don't understand it. I've done nothing to this woman, and from day one, she's been a thorn in our side and has been wanting to take us down. It all ends at Ultima Guerrera, and that's just kind of what Rey Mysterio Jr. A little short, promo, just really, with reporters and whatnot. Nothing too crazy, not like an official, promo or anything. Just kind of something out of the wrestling environment as well. That's something we haven't done in a hot-ass minute. It's been a while, but, we did the vignettes there at the beginning of the season just to really get everybody out there a little bit quicker. But also now, we can do a lot more promos outside of the ring and with the press conferences as well. Another thing that's really helped us out, I think, has helped make the shows a little bit more different and keep up with what we were trying to do in the beginning. As right afterwards, we go from that to in the ring as Angel Garza having his entrance, getting ready for his matchup, and Selena De La Renta has some words for Rey Mysterio Jr. And she vows to be the one to end the Mysterio dynasty. La Destina Mysterio will be no more after Ultima Guerrera, and Promociones Dorado is the elite brand in Lucha Libre right now. And she points to Angel Garza, said, "You're going to see this face on billboards all over Mexico City. This man is a star in the making in Angel Garza. He's going straight to the top of Magnifico Lucha Libre." All coming in Season 2. And it's really hyping up Season 2 as well. That's kind of something that, it's an interesting idea, to hype up Season 2 as this guy's going to be, an upcoming star in Season 2. And maybe say he's going to be in a couple of, Telemundo shows and just kind of seeing if he's going to, going in that route in the acting world. And that'd be really not really, acting world per se, if you could call it that. If you could call being on that Telemundo soap opera shows. But it's happening. Conan did it. Marco Corleone did it. Trying to think who else. There's a couple other lucha guys that have popped up on those. But yeah, Angel Garza, I think, is just perfect for that role and kind of being dubbed the future guy. Kind of like Stunning Steve Austin and Dangerous Alliance. Selena De La Renta is Paul Heyman, of course, in this scenario, in this analogy. But I just feel like that'd be a fun way of hyping up Angel Garza before his match with El Sabarino Jr. Funny enough, bringing up fucking El Sabarino Jr. in this card, as I'm literally 5 minutes before I started recording, El Sabarino Jr. just going on a Twitter rampage, destroying CMLL and destroying Ultimo Guerrera, as CMLL is just, it ain't looking good. It's just not looking good at all. Sanson and Forestiero, and then, basically all of NLD is gone, and they've left CMLL kind of without any rhyme or reason, just kind of oh, that's it, just kind of out of nowhere type of thing. Just seeing it on Twitter, just Lucha Blog was just what the fuck is going on type of thing, and it is wild to say the least. Wild day for Lucha Libre Twitter, and also too, with Triple Mania too. One of the most high-profile main events as far as probably outside Mexico, as far as people probably interested in the United States and elsewhere, and a lot of people have been asking about it. because of what AAA did. And this is gonna be this episode is gonna be off the rocks as far as what's supposed to happen as far as like continuity and it being shot like an actual TV show, because there's just crazy shit's going on in Lucha Libre right now, where with Triple Mania, usually AAA, they have a YouTube channel, they got Twitch, they try to stream as many shows as they can. Well, that changed. That all changed fairly recently. The backers of in Hollywood, the Hollywood investors that put money into getting Lucha Underground off the ground and getting that successful. The reason that happened is because these Hollywood investors wanted rights outside of Mexico forever and ever. And if, AAA agreed to that, if they paid the price. And the investors did. Of course, LU, Lucha Underground, a lot, honestly, if I had to guess, it probably didn't make any money. From what I've heard, like their catering stories and heard of just how the guys are treated, which is great, but they ain't making no money from what I've been told and what I've heard through the grapevine. It just seems like that did not work. They also did a couple of shows in New York, I want to say, and that also didn't work either. And then of course, once these Hollywood investors start seeing AAA doing all sorts of deals by having marketing stuff on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, just live streaming a lot of shows, Hollywood investors like, wait a minute, you're sending these shows outside Mexico, I want those rights. So they've been in a legal battle throughout that time, and which all could have been very, very much avoided if they just leased the rights. If AAA had just kind of leased it, like, why give away all of your rights, all of your streaming rights for AAA, all because of Lucha Underground? Just is wild. Wild, wild, wild. And also, they took down, the Hollywood investors took down all of AAA's like social media. They took down their Twitter, I want to say. Maybe they're just their YouTube. I think they might sell their YouTube up, but it's been wild. I want to say that it started last year, but I think they started, stopping it a lot more. But and what's crazy about this is it's not going to get changed probably till next year at the earliest. That's at the earliest. AAA might have a shot of having a good defense, but really, I wouldn't bet on it. So yeah, that's just kind of crazy to think about that. If you're outside Mexico and you want to see Triple Mania for like the first time in, God, at least in the streaming era, even then, I felt like even in the mid and late 2000s, if you wanted to see a Triple Mania show, you could get your hands on it. But now, you're gonna have to find someone who's pirating and fucking streaming on somewhere from Mexico if you're gonna be able to find it. But that's just neither here nor there. And then with with CMLL, what's going on today? I mean, Jesus Christ! This has been just a crazy. CMLL has taken quite a toll in the past, I would say, year, 2 years, maybe even probably pre-pandemic. But then when the pandemic actually hit, seeing some big fucking names just go up and leave CMLL or leave, starting with Roosh, that was probably the big one and the biggest one, going for Ring of Honor, and Bandito, and a lot of the big names of CMLL that left. It's just, and then now today, with NGD leaving, Sanson, Cueto, and then Forastero, all three of them leaving as well, which I think Paco Alonso, once Paco Alonso passed, I think those, the copyright, well, I wouldn't say copyright, rather, the trademark names of those characters, I believe, have been passed down to Sophia. So, there'll probably be new names as well. There'll probably be new gimmicks. So it's a crazy day. It's a crazy day in the Lucha Libre world. And yeah, well, let's get back into this fictional world where everything is pleasant. Everything's going well. There's nothing. Nobody's getting pissed off about anybody. It's just all is well. As Angel Garza got the win, 2 straight falls, with the final fall being the wing clipper, as 65 for Angel Garza, 62 for El Sabarino Jr. Sabarino Jr. was off his game, but at least he's getting better at his gimmicks. At least we got a positive there. And then the next match as Los Mercenaries of Daga and King Cuerno taking on El Hero de Vikingo and Laredo Kid as Los Gentes del Aire as the air riders of El Hero del Vikingo and Laredo Kid. Kind of a funny name. Like, obviously, if just with kind of Spanish and the way, like, Spanish works, you'd think they'd be called, like, the Skywalkers, or something like that, but the Air Riders is kind of funny, as they get the win with El Hero del Vikingo. Oh, I guess it wasn't I need to stop doing that. I don't know why that's happening. I could swear I hit Lucha Libre tag match every time, but that's neither here nor there. As El Hero del Vikingo gets the win. I want to say this would have been a 3-fall matchup as well. We'll have Laredo Kid pinning Daga the first fall. Second fall, King Cuerno on El Hero del Vikingo, and then the final fall being Laredo, or rather El Hero del Vikingo hitting the 630 on Daga. Laredo Kid cracks his ribs. That ain't good. Hurts his in-ring performance, but King Cuerno and El Hero del Vikingo in the 70s. That's awesome, though. And Daga and King Cuerno are actually a really good team. Los Mercenaries looking really, really good. I mean, they're so far it's a short little time frame, but it looks like they're going to be a hot act, especially for season 2. As that will march on to the next matchup. It's Atlantis and Atlantis Jr. in a Campeones de Parejas tag title matchup, challenging Rush and Dragon Lee. Obviously, Atlantis and Atlantis Jr., they've had their troubles with Los Ingobernables. Atlantis pinning La Sombra in that trios match, the previous episode, now coming to this episode, having a tag title matchup. They fall short. Dragon Lee pins Atlantis Jr., and then with La Sombra, as Atlantis is on the apron, La Sombra comes out, takes out Atlantis, as once Dragon Lee gets the pinfall there on Atlantis Jr. with really no problem, no worry about Atlantis coming in and breaking up the pin. So the first defense of any championship in Magnifico Lucha Libre, as that's fun. We got that going for us. As the MLL, Campeones de Parejas titles. And then afterwards, it's not over with La Sombra. La Sombra is furious. After losing to Atlantis, he just cannot wait for Ultimo Guerra. And when they're on the outside, he's just laying in on Atlantis, laying him in shot after shot, right hand after right hand, right on the fucking top of the forehead, rips the mask from the top, starts raining down punches some more, blood's visible now, and finally, Rush and Dragon Lee have to pull La Sombra off of Atlantis. It gets so bad, and La Sombra just leaves with blood on his knuckles, and Atlantis is a bloody mess. Mask is ripped up, blood's pouring out of his forehead. Atlantis Jr. and a couple of people at ringside, part of the Magnifico Lucha Libre crew, trying to get towels, trying to just get anything to stop the bleeding and get him to the backstage area, get him stitched up. Just we're adding fuel to the fire with this Sombra Atlantis promo, or I wouldn't say promo. It's a Sombra Atlantis program that's going on. It's been quite the journey. Quite the journey. It's the next match. And it's the, before we get to the main event, of course, of Volador Jr. and El Tiano Jr., we have the co-main event, Alianza de Plata Oro, as the Silver and Gold Alliance of Caristico Mystico taking on the Young Bucks. They get 2 straight falls over the Young Bucks, pretty surprising, as the first fall comes with Mystico pinning Matt Jackson having going through his injury. It's definitely affecting him in the match. It's affecting his performance. As the second fall and the final fall happens, Nick Jackson just kind of is trying to help Matt Jackson back into the corner. Like, he's desperately trying to do anything he can to get Matt Jackson out of harm's way after losing the first fall. And Caristico wastes no time, gets the tag from Mystico, hits a La Mystica on Nick Jackson, and Mystico, and really not even Mystico has to take out Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson just can't even get back into the ring in time. He's in so much pain with his injury, and obviously with him, it was luckily with Matt Jackson, the injury was part of the match, so that's why we did the match. And also, too, I mean, that's a big-time win for Caristico Mystico over the Young Bucks there. That's a fun co-main event, too. A 73, not bad at all. And then the main event for the Magnifico Cup, El Tejano Jr. versus Volador Jr. And Volador Jr. gets the win in 20 minutes. Definitely wouldn't be two straight falls. Tejano Jr. would get the first fall. Then two straight for Volador Jr. So this is an interesting match. For it to be the main event and to be such a high-profile match, it's also Rudo versus Rudo. But I think Volador Jr., he's a Rudo that I think if I was a fan in the audience, I think out of these two men, definitely the more sympathetic to him, being kind of more of the babyface in the match, or the technical in this case in the match. Volador Jr., a guy who was kind of shunned to the side in the beginning. And it was Dole Conan, you didn't put me in that Magnifico Grand Tournament, and I'm going to prove you wrong. Went on to, basically hasn't taken a pinfall loss since then. Won the Prove Yourself match, the crazy-ass match, to then get him to buy into the Magnifico Cup Rumble. Wins the Rumble, well, had the most points in the Rumble. Then, the next night, next episode, for episode 12, beats El Tejano and has punched his ticket into the main event of the Season 1 finale. Taking on Phoenix. That should be a very fun match. I mean, both guys have been doing mid-80s, high 80s sometimes. It's probably going to be the best match we've done of the season, which is the goal. You want to end the season on that type of high-level match, and that's a damn good main event, if I do say so myself. And but before we get into the actual end of the show, though, we do have Conan with a press conference, having up more matches for Ultimo Guerra, and announcing that the tag team titles, the Campeones de Parejas, will be decided in a three-way tag match. The obviously the champions in Rush and Dragon Lee, they will be defending their championships against the Laredo Kid El Hierro del Vikingo team of Los Gentes del Aire, and then Caristico and Mystico, the Silver and Gold Alliance. As I mean, that is very, very fun to see there. And then also, there's even more. As Inferno Desatado of Cibernetico, Averino, and Black Taurus are going to take on the team of Los Mercenaries of obviously all of Los Mercenaries, El Tejano Jr., King Cuerno, and Daga, in a trios matchup. And then in a tag match, we're going to have Mix of Blood of Bandido Flamita taking on Sanson and the Forastero. And so that should be a lot of Singre Dynamita as the Dynamite brothers. As that should be very, 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 the Dynamite Blood rather. As that should be quite the fun card. I mean, this is looking like it's definitely going to be the best episode as far as matches wise. We have so much going on. We have the career versus career, the match with La Sombra and Atlantis. We got the Grand Championship match of Phoenix and Volador Jr. We have the Atomicos match of Promociones Dorado and La Dinastia Mysterio. Then we also we got the tag title matchup now, the three-way for the tag team titles. That should be another banger of a matchup. And I mean, there's some fun, and also the Mexican Death Match, Kevin Steen El Generico. A lot of fun stuff happening on that. That's stuff for everybody. That's what I try to kind of think of. We got some death match in there. We got some high flying in there. We got some brawling. We got the classic style of lucha. We got the bet the wager match, career versus career. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of good stuff going on. A fun show, though. This, episode 12, really, really fun show. Episode 76, the main event, best thing on the card. That's what you hope for, besides, obviously, the press conference, hyping up more matches for Ultimo Guerra. And that will do it for episode 12. One more episode left. This series, oh my god, I always keep on doing that. The season finale of Magnífico Lucha Libre of the first season will be right now. Take care, everyone.